Hello friends, today I will teach you methods and strategies that make chicks turn into true giant beasts faster than a cockerel crows. Of course, there is that common concern that many chicken and poultry breeders have. The chicks are so tiny. What can I do so they get really big in the shortest time possible? There are things you don't know yet, but that many large-scale breeders usually perform to improve growth. And the best part of all is that right here I'm going to teach you what those two great secrets are. The first thing you must take into account is that all breeds of chickens do not have the same rate of development. No matter how much you give them vitamins in the water or in the feed, genetics is something fundamental. I have seen people who have chickens and literally waste their money buying vitamins that they either use in excess, which simply doesn't work, or they buy way too much vitamin for the small number of birds they have. And then the vitamins go bad without ever being used because, well, those products come with an expiry date. So the first important piece of data is at least knowing what type of chickens you have. Maybe your chickens are broilers for meat, or maybe they are laying hens, or perhaps they are ornamental dwarfs, or maybe you have Creoles or some specific cross between these types of poultry. At least by knowing that, you can get a realistic idea of how far it is possible to make your chickens grow. For example, whilst a broiler chicken for meat takes about 1 month to reach 1,600 grams of body weight, a laying hen takes 5 months to reach that same weight, and a dragon chicken, such as a dong tao for instance, must be fed for an entire year to be able to reach the appropriate weight for the market. You must always keep all of this in mind. In any case, the secret tricks so that the chicks grow in a very short time and develop at the speed of light start from doing an excellent job on the chicken's intestine. That is to say, you must concentrate on their intestine. There lies the key, besides providing good housing conditions and ensuring they never lack water. But definitively, the intestine is super vital and very important, because when a chick is born, its intestine is not 100% developed. Since the intestine is immature, you have to help it along. What we do is use B complex. Normally, they sell it in liquid form, and since it is used in such tiny quantities, it goes a long way. What happens is that when someone starts using those vitamins, they usually overdo it. But the dose I suggest you use is just 1 to 2 grams in 1 liter of water, no more. That is the dose, 1 or 2 grams of B complex per liter of water, and it is used during the first 2 weeks of life. That is going to be their only drinking water. Doing it this way has yielded excellent results. It not only helps them grow fast because it stimulates their appetite, but in the long term, it is going to better prepare the entire intestinal tract so that it functions in the best possible way. So a super important key is to use vitamins in tiny, tiny quantities. This has been practiced by the most dedicated poultry farmers for decades. And everything I am telling you is part of that accumulated experience that these people have obtained from raising so many chickens and poultry. But the main use of B complex is not necessarily just to make chickens grow. We use it for that. But the real objective of this group of water-soluble vitamins is to correct nutritional deficiencies. If there are no deficiencies, then all the B complex that is given to the chicks will simply be eliminated in their droppings. The chicks will only absorb the B complex necessary to cover what the food does not provide them. For instance, the balanced feed you buy at the shop is formulated correctly, but when you mix it with other things to make your money last longer, that is where the food becomes unbalanced. The formula loses its balance, and that is when the deficiencies start, not only of B-complex vitamins, but also of other vitamins that start to be lacking. For that reason, as much as possible, the diet of small chicks should be based on balanced feed. However, since it is so common on farms that the feeding is not entirely balanced, but rather varied, meaning you mix in several things like maize, wheat, or middlings, the formulas get thrown off. I like varied feeding, and I have recommended it because it is wonderful, but it is often varied without being balanced. There are many experiences where we can observe that supplying B complex to chicks during their first days of life greatly improves their growth. And here is an additional tip. When an adult hen is unwell, maybe not eating well due to stress, or because she is recovering from a disease or surgery, one of the best decisions you can make is to use B complex to stimulate her so she can eat. Additionally, it helps the liver function and helps the animal detoxify easily. In this way, the birds recover much faster. That is a vital piece of information. Finally, B complex also helps to improve the resistance of chicks to intestinal parasites, such as Ascaridia galli. Now we move on to step number 2 to optimize the growth of your chicks. Scientifically, it has been proven that the use of probiotics makes the development of chicks much better and faster. You don't even have to buy probiotics. You can make them at home very easily. Probiotics are tiny living microorganisms that go to live in the intestine and create environments that improve the overall health of the chickens. Probiotics are found in dairy, yogurts, and fermented foods. Since we are talking about fermented foods, let me teach you something very simple. You are going to take a portion of the food that you normally use for the chicks, which is usually the concentrate or a mixture of grains. Take a portion, like a bowl full, and put it in a bucket or better yet, a glass jar. Add water to make it into a dough-like consistency. Leave it there for 2 days, and when it smells like fermentation, it is ready. You can start giving it to the chickens. Those are your probiotics. Later on, you can look for my specific guide on home probiotics where I show a step-by-step formula using only maize for that purpose. These probiotics are given to the chicks daily, for example, in the afternoon hours when they're about to go to sleep. That last little meal can be these probiotics you prepared with water. With these microorganisms inside their intestine, improving intestinal maturity, combined with the B complex, they work together to allow the chick to better break down the food. In that way, nutrients are incorporated more efficiently, improving the health of the chicks. That is why they grow so strong. To prove it, we can look at scientific data where chicks that received probiotics showed significantly better development of the intestinal villi and overall growth compared to those on a normal diet. It is also known that chicks fed with probiotics are more resistant to diseases caused by bacteria and viruses because the immune system is rooted in the intestine. If the intestine is strong, the immune system will be at full power. If you have a professional farm and want to treat your birds even more professionally, there are commercial probiotics on the market designed to give a turbo boost to the digestive and hepatic systems, such as Fosbac, Virgin 40, Floristar, or Poultry Star. There are many, but now you know their purpose. They improve the digestive system, and everything starts from there. Probiotics can be made at home or bought to be added to the water or mixed with commercial feed. With these 2 major things, you will see your chickens grow so fast it's scary. I am constantly sharing this secret information so you can put it into practice and enjoy the results. If these secrets change the way you look at raising your flock and growing your future, please subscribe and like this video to follow our journey. We are unearthing the vital knowledge that has been hidden for too long. Cultivate your future with us. The next treasure of wisdom will be revealed soon.